Hi, I'm Gregory Hogue, and today, with my wife Gail, we're going to talk to you about the I.Connect and something new that we've been experimenting with. Actually, we were guided to do this because of all the serious weather that is going on around the world, and right now in Colorado, we're experiencing some of the worst fires that we've had in decades. And so, with all the smoke floating through the air, we decided we needed to really start putting something together. And Gail was being almost pushed from inside. We've got to get this up. We've got to get this out. So what we did is we created a form that's actually on the I.Connect. And this is a form that's only 2 in the world. The other one's in England. And the one we have is downstairs right now next to the tube that we use to activate all of the I.Connects. So we connected this form on a copper plate to the same form that's on our land that's over 20 feet high, and that's the solar vortex. This form is something that's made up of the way the icosahedron, the dodecahedron dance together in a phi ratio relationship, which creates relationship to everything that's alive and growing. And so what we did with this form is, by putting 8 I.Connects at critical points on the outside and crystals between those I.Connects, we started working with calling upon our guidance and to allow for higher dimensional energies, connection to source to come through, to start working with people's consciousness, to start working with the consciousness of the earth and the land. Because you wanted to say some things, I know.
I do.
So,
And this is really important, because I think that one of the things that we talk about with the I.Connect is this is about connection. It's about greater awareness. And this is another level of awareness. When we recognize that we're in the process of moving away from a consciousness of separation and moving into a consciousness of oneness, then we know that everything that's going on around the world is really all a part of us. And I was thinking deeply about this last night. As a matter of fact, it was keeping me awake. And when we can form a new kind of ownership, a new responsibility for what we're creating on this plane, we can shift things. And that's what we want. We want to be able to shift, because the way our resources are right now, our resources are not distributed in a harmonious way. Whether we talk about the 1% with the wealth, or the way that certain countries use up more of the oil, water, food, different things like that. The way our weather patterns, over on the west coast, or rather the east coast, but the west side of Florida in the Gulf area, there have been huge downpours of rain and flooding. And on the other hand, here in Colorado, where we are, it is so extremely dry that in a matter of just a couple of days, we have a huge fire with over 43,000 acres that have been burned. So this is our opportunity to create a new awareness, a new relationship, and recalibration. So I was seeing it as we apply our consciousness to weather, for instance, and this was very much about the water distribution, the winds, the weather. As we bring our awareness to that, we can actually change, let me not use that word change, we can shift the way the patterns are, because the patterns now are working in a way that they've been designed in a sort of an unconscious way that keeps going on. And then we feel like we're victims of what's happening, as opposed to being able to be co-creators, which is what we're here for. So this form was set up to dialogue with the higher dimensions, with the elementals, with all the awareness on this planet, with the grid of this planet, with the people that are here, that are waking up to take ownership and to be aware of the new position that we have to create harmony and balance on this planet, bring about a shift in these resources so that it works for all. Again, it's always for the good of all.
You see, there's so much lip service, in a sense, to us as human beings, moving to another level of consciousness, moving toward more unity. And yet, the reality is that the actions that we sometimes take don't reflect the ownership that you're speaking of right now, about how we are creating a dysfunction on the planet because of our internal dysfunction as human beings, the way we're working with each other, or in this case, not working with each other. And in equitable distribution of resources, of consciousness on the planet, where people are working with fear, working with wanting to try to get everything they can for themselves, and not feeling that there is abundance for all. And so we really need to start taking ownership of what's being created in the weather, what's being created around the planet, in things that we normally think that I have nothing to do with the rest of the world and what's going on.
And yes, we have so much to do with it. And I'm glad you brought up that point about abundance, because that was something last night that really became very profound in my awareness, that when you think about what the rain brings the ability to have everything grow, whether it's our trees, our plants, our fruits and vegetables, the water that we need for our sustenance. It allows us to be able to experience the abundance of this magnificent planet. And so it's very much connected to that flow of abundance, that flow of energy. And rather than saying, well, this is the way things are, well, that's the illusion. That's not the way things are. The way things are is what we know within our being, what our soul is speaking to us. And that's the platform that we're operating off of now. And we ask each one of you to work with your I.Connects in a really conscious way, so that this new grid system really gets activated and implanted, so that truly all life here can be in a marvelous flow of harmony, well-being, and abundance for all.
Because you see, what's happening is, by activating this form with the I.Connects around it, we are activating your I.Connect. It's becoming more enlivened with the higher aspects of light, the higher aspects of consciousness. The more we're doing here, everything is connected. And so the I.Connect is about connection, and this is moving your I.Connect to another level of beingness. And so it's really asking you to move to another level of beingness, to see that everything in your environment, everything in your world is your projection, and to take responsibility for shifting that. That means each moment of your awakening, each moment of your sleeping is in a space of connection, where you realize that love that you are, you realize that joy that you are, and you bring it to bear on everything.
Right.
And to help
do
to
it with
shift.
joy. Do it with joy. You know, when you talk about people doing rain dances, they're dances. It's about joyfulness. It's an expression of the magnificence that we have here. So live with magnificence.
And that dance, that dance is not about wanting rain. That dance is not to bring the rain. The dance is always experiencing the rain. The dance is experiencing, it's being in that space of splashing in the puddles in your consciousness, so that when you open your eyes and when you live your life, it's filled to abundance with what you experienced in the inner vision of your dance. It becomes your outer vision of reality. And that's the power of the time we're in now. So we're asking you to please step into your new power. Blessings.
Blessings.